Hi, you guys. It is I, Katie Morton.
And Jennifer Palmer.
We are both intuitives, energy healers, spiritual teachers, and together we are divinely guided.
And most Thursdays.
Many Thursdays.
Many Thursdays.
Some Thursdays.
We try to come here and connect with you and your loved ones and spirit guides to see what kind of things they can give you around guidance, questions you might have.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Right on. It tends to be guides more than loved ones, but sometimes the loved ones will pop in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I will say, I'm going to express it. I think we have a preference to connect with guides. So if you would like some wisdom or advice or ways of coping or handling or how to proceed in your life, that's more our specialty. And it is more appealing than mediumship in our opinion, in terms of for other people watching. If you're like, oh, your Aunt Shelley says, is maybe less appealing than...
Nothing wrong with Aunt Shelley.
There's nothing wrong with Aunt Shelley.
And we've done that before too.
And we do that.
Lovely. Yeah.
It is wonderful. But perhaps like Volta the Galactic might have an interesting perspective over Aunt Shelley.
Especially during our current times.
Right. Yeah. Because stuff's weird and you might need help, right?
And Aunt Shelley might be like, run for the hills.
Yeah. Or eat some cookies.
And Voltaire is like, well...
Yeah, there might be different guidance.
Look at the karma that you have here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
With questions, when they come in, we have a chat app here and we have different places that we're streaming to. So we just read it as it comes in. And
so if it looks like we're skipping you or jumping around, we're really not.
We're not. Yeah. We're doing our best.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have some coming in. So, if you guys want to, if you like what we do, feel free to share it and call in some of your buddies and
like our stuff, subscribe, all that stuff, and check out our website, divinelyguided.tv.
Yeah.
We have some stuff going on.
And we have Soul Growth Group.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a brief moment. Yeah, every month, twice a month, Jen and I get together with a group of brave souls to study intuition techniques and to get activations that will help your energy flow better and help you get better guidance. And it teaches a lot about intuition, I would say. That's our main focus in those groups. So if you're interested in learning how to do this yourself, go to divinelyguided.tv and click on the up top menu. There's a link to Soul Growth Group and you can look at that.
Excellent.
All right. We got questions rolling in. So we're going to get after it.
All right. Faye Robbins. Hi, ladies. Any messages? Thank you.
All right. Hey, Faye.
Well, the first thing I'm seeing is as I'm seeing these two coins together and it's like you're rubbing them together or somebody's rubbing them together. It just feels like, I think penny pinching is the wrong word because it doesn't feel quite that stressed, but it does feel like there's worry around money. And I don't know if this is you or maybe your husband or something, but it just does feel like we've got these two coins to rub together. That's all we have. And I don't want to say it doesn't feel like it's quite that dramatic, but that's the vision. And then I just felt this was more of a feeling. Sometimes the messages come through as like a feeling. You feel what's happening. Sometimes you see things and you try not to put judgment on it. You just try to take it as data points. But this feels like I suddenly had an idea of a way to either bring money in or something to smooth things out. Maybe it's to save money or something, but it just felt like an idea to relieve the money stress. And I just heard it's important. I think, and it feels like this idea, whether you've already had it or you're about to, I feel like it's really important. Like, listen to your thoughts and your ideas around this because you're getting them because you're meant to follow them. But I also want to say, make sure that you're not doing things based in fear. I mean, how many times have we like gotten together and we're like, oh my God, this thing is happening. I got to get myself out of this situation. And when you're in that mode of freak out, you're not going to get the most divine guidance most of the time. I think sometimes they break through despite our craziness. But, a lot of times then you'll be making choices out of fear. And the goal is to get out of fear, get out of your emotions for a minute of what's happening, your fight or flight type of a thing, and just get calm and collected and then just look at the ideas that have been coming in. What are you getting?
So a couple things about that. One is also just the idea of when we're in fear, even if we get great guidance and we take all the right actions, if we have that fear in our vibration, it can sort of, even if we do all the right things and we get all the right guidance, if we're not in the right headspace for it, it can really pump kind of an energy into what we're doing, and it can affect our outcome. So there's something that Abraham Hicks, if you guys have never heard of Abraham Hicks, you go to YouTube, you type in, not right now on the live, but wait until we're done, maybe make a note. But if you go there and you type in Abraham Hicks, they have a lot of great videos that teach about how to manage your vibration and manifestation. And they have something called segment intending. So look that up. But really what it means is before you do anything. So what Esther Hicks was saying, she does it like 100 times a day. Anytime she's going to do anything, she'll start journaling and she'll get her vibration right. Even if she's going to do something like just take a walk, she'll get her head space in the right space. She'll get a really high perspective and she'll really start looking forward and building up anticipation. And so especially when we have things that we tend to be fearful about or triggered by, like money, it's a really good idea. Like before you would, for example, pay your bills or check your bank balance, you would do segment intending. So you're going to think like, I love that, every time I open my bank account balance, like there's something in there, like,
it's not negative.
Right. So, with whatever it is that you need to do to psych yourself up and to make it feel good, it's a really good idea. And I think it helps a lot, even if it doesn't move the needle on the physicals, it really at least helps you keep your sanity and helps you keep in a good space for being able to manifest better and to pump positive energy into anything that it is that you're doing, because energetically if we type an email and it could have the exact same text, but if the energy behind it is like, I don't know,
passive aggressive,
right? That energy transmits to the person who's receiving it. It might help them to perceive it in a certain way, perhaps. Whereas if you have a positive energy behind the same exact communication, it can help them perceive it in a different way. So not only about people's perceptions, but everything that we do is touched by our energetic state. And so if we just remember the quantum mechanics and the quantum physics behind all of our thoughts and feelings and actions, it really does matter. So self-mastery obviously comes into that, and reminding ourselves to not be reactive. And when we do start to like flip into a state that's less than ideal, to examine that and to get curious, not to stuff it down. I always tell people, like, you're not going to just like ignore it or pave over it or pretend it's not there. Sometimes we need to really examine our reality and see where we need to make changes, for example, or we need to heal wounds or whatever it is that has to get addressed. It's not just about like popping your happy pills and acting like everything's fine. It's fine when it's burning around you. It's about, you got to do both. You got to be in reality and navigate this world at the same time that you operate from a multidimensional level. So, we're all working on that. It can be a bit confusing. So that was the first thing I got. The other thing I got was I saw these sort of like, it was like black gremlins in the heart space. And I cleared it. I cleared it out, but it was the idea of, and we just got this message earlier, it's like time to upgrade sacred space. So whatever it is that you do as a practice, and we recommend this for everyone watching, is that you always be clear in ABC. If you go to divinelyguided.tv, there's an article there about how to create sacred space. So if that's not a practice you're already doing multiple times a day, by all means, definitely a great time. There's no time like the present to get started on sacred space. But even if you are a regular practitioner of creating sacred space for yourself, it's always a good idea every once in a while to kind of like batten down the hatches and tighten up your language and your methods of doing it, because the negatives, the things we don't want on our sacred space, are always looking for loopholes, and they're always looking for ways to kind of like sneak in the back door. So I did feel like your protocols might need a little bit of tightening up, and also just making sure for all of us that we do it like clockwork. We always recommend at minimum at night before you go to bed, first thing when you wake up, so you're doing at least twice a day. And I like to say until 11:30 p.m., if I do it in the morning, and then at night I'll say until 11:30 a.m. So I always have constant coverage, but then I'm also clearing throughout the day if I notice, an energy, or if I feel like my sacred space was broken. So don't limit yourself to that, but that's a good minimum.
Yeah. So just a little talk about that. The entities, and there are negative entities. They, some people argue that, but I can tell you without a doubt, it is something that is real. And they do. They're like expert lawyers. They look for loopholes, trying to find ways into your sacred space or ways to get around your free will or whatever it is. And they're pretty good at it. And now more than ever, it seems like they're really
they're working overtime right now.
Seriously. Yeah. So yeah, whatever you can do to create a beautiful sacred space, and there's so many different ways to do that. But yeah, call in the angelic realm, call in Jesus, call in whatever it is, aligns with whatever you feel is the highest possible energies, the most beautiful, most loving energies, and then define the space. So you really want to make sure you're saying, all right, so in this room while I'm sleeping, nothing is allowed in except, what was the aunt's name?
Aunt Shelley.
Aunt Shelley. Aunt Shelley can come in as long as she doesn't tell me to eat cookies and and to run for my life. Otherwise, as long as she's got something positive, she can come in. My guides and angels can come in. Nobody else is allowed. Right. So, but get really specific because they do find loopholes.
Yep. And the other thing I saw actually about you, Faye, and I think this could apply to some of us, was after I cleared you, they showed your heart center, which was so light filled. And this is a method that Jen's mentioned before, but it was like your white light got so big and it like enveloped anything that was in the room with you. So that is another method. We can call in help, but we can also do it ourselves with our heart light, like as if you're ET, glow your heart light.
I had this one experience one time. This is kind of interesting. I love stories. We don't tell enough stories on here. True. But I was learning how to do clearings on people, and I do some pretty heavy duty clearings. Mm-hmm. There's been some crazy stuff happening at Nourishing Journey, let me tell you guys. And but there was, back in the beginning, there was somebody I was working on clearing, and it was something that was karmic. It wasn't easily cleared. And that means that there's some reason that they are allowed to be around, and it couldn't just be a quick, simple, all right, move it and you're out of here. Something deeper had to be healed, and I didn't quite understand what to do for it then. But it didn't like the fact that I was poking around either. So it woke me up in the middle of the night, and it threatened my kids. And of course, then I started freaking out, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I getting into? And, I start clearing. So I get, myself situated. I try to get calm and I start trying to clear, and then it blinds me and I literally can't see anything. And I start freaking out and I call on Archangel Michael. And the first thing he said was, all right, calm down. He looked like he sat in front of me. He's like, calm down. And then he's like, make your light as bright as you can make it. They can't handle it. And I did. I just imagined, luckily because I had the support of Archangel Michael in front of me, but I had to do it. He wasn't going to rescue me. And so I just imagined like turning up the heat of my light and as the brightness, and I got as bright and as hot as I could. And then it disappeared and my eyesight came back. So, we have so much more power than we realize. Mm-hmm. And I know that was a long-winded answer, Faye, but
it's important for everybody.
Yeah,
so
it did. It felt very
and
broad.
Once again, that technique is outlined on the Divinely Guided TV website with the article called How to Create Sacred Space. So if you want to try to practice that and you want more information, go ahead and go there. And
yeah. All right. You want to read Daniela?
Sure. Daniela Cugiano says, hi, ladies. How are you? Missed you. Anything from my guides? Thank you.
Hey there.
Hi.
Let's see what we got for Daniela.
All right.
So it's interesting. The first thing I see is what I'm going to say is like a puma or a black panther, but it was in a defensive position, and it kind of, that they make, and it kind of did this. It was not happy. It was very defensive. usually when I think of pumas or like Black Panthers, they're mystical. There's definitely a sense of femininity around it with me. I'm also feeling like with this message, with the vision of, as I'm tuning in and trying to feel more and get more from the vision, you have more power than you realize, and you're giving it to everybody else around you. And I think there's a misunderstanding of what the power really is. And this kind of comes into a whole bigger conversation, which we've had, I think, many times on here around, when things happen and we're feeling victimized, and it happens to all of us, we all get in that place. And it's part of our purpose here. We are meant to go through these things to come into a really big divine power from within. And our guides have said we're like on this pendulum. Most of us, they call it the victim pendulum. And on one side of the pendulum is like pity or depression, sadness, like, oh, this keeps happening to me and I have absolutely no power. I don't know how to get out of this. The other side of it is this kind of righteous anger, and it feels more powerful, but it's still not the way out. And so this pendulum that we kind of go back and forth. And someone said to me, oh, that's fight, flight, or freeze. And so the anger is like the fight. The self-pity is more like the flight. And then those people who are just trying to, okay, I'm not going to be angry and I'm not going to be sad. I'm just going to be here. They're the freeze, and they kind of like numb everything and just exist. And none of those are the answer. And the goal is to get off of that pendulum. And Daniela, I feel like we've probably had this conversation before about other things, but I feel like for the broader, everyone else watching, this is important. We got to get off of it. And the way off of it is through forgiveness. It's through letting go. It's through self-development and awareness. And, that vision of the Black Panther, getting upset and getting defensive, it was not really truly in power. It was cowering and hissing and getting ready to attack, but not from a place of real power. They can be really regal feeling and very magical. And that is you, and that's who you really are. And I feel like they want you to really connect with that.
I'm also getting to step into this higher version of yourself. I'm getting that you've made a lot of progress, but maybe other people aren't aware of this progress that you've made. And so if they see you as this old version of yourself, and then they do things as if you're the old version, and then you feel boxed into reacting as if you're the old version, or this sort of half step of like, all right, well, I'm not as meek as I was before, but now I'm going to be sort of overreactive and, I don't know, a nasty way, I guess. I don't like to say that you're being nasty, because that's not exactly it. It's
defensive. Maybe.
Yeah, it's the description that Jenn's putting forth. But it's like this idea of stepping off of it into the regalness. But part of it is giving yourself credit for how far that you have come, and to see your progress that you've made, and to really own it, and to know that you can express yourself in a different way now, that you can step into your strength and your divine power in a way that is even keeled and calm and matter of fact, and you don't have to go at it in a way that's triggered. That's all I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything else, but it feels really good. No, I do feel like there is somebody else. Just give me a sec. Let me see if I can get it. So it kind of came back to this idea. I saw a crown. I was trying to figure out what they were trying to say. You are more of a queen. And I say that, as more of like a symbol. You are more of a queen than you realize. And a lot of times you're thinking that you're living under the control of everything else around you, but in reality, you aren't. And I think it's just about aligning with the real power and strength that you have when you're not on that pendulum. You're going to really see things shift and go, I don't want to say go your way, because it's not about my way versus their way. It just feels like though it's it's going to feel really in alignment, I guess is better. But you got to get off of that pendulum. And we all get on it. So this isn't like, oh, Daniela.
Yeah.
We all do it. And you just have to recognize when you're doing it, because that's where the growth opportunity is. But I think that's it.
All right.
All right. Dawn Guilford. Hey, ladies.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I
You
know.
can read. Jen can
I
read
can
too.
read.
It's fabulous.
Anyway, Dawn Guilford says, any messages for me? I don't know what this is about. Maybe you'll get an idea. But you know the song "Smoking in the Boys' Room." So I had that tune, but they said a moving and a shaking. And I don't know, but it was to that tune of "Smoking in the Boys' Room." But moving and a shaking is what they said. So I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But I'm throwing it out there because it's what I got. And then I just saw you, it's interesting, I just saw you sitting at a desk, paging through what feels like, I can only tell you because I didn't see that it was a contract, but it felt like like a contract or an agreement of some sort. And that you're like reading it and really going through it. Whatever it is, I mean, I'm assuming maybe you're entering into some sort of an agreement with somebody, even if you're not physically signing something. I think it's used as a symbol of stepping into an agreement with somebody. It feels positive, feels like the right step, but I also feel like whatever it is, there's always growth opportunities. But it feels really good, though. I mean, I've definitely had things like that happen with me as well, where it seems like it feels positive. I know I'm doing the right thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy, but it is exactly what I'm meant to do. And I don't see that to make you be like, ugh. It's a good thing. It is a very good thing.
Yeah. I was feeling also about all this that everything's Jen is saying, and I was feeling within you maybe like a fear, a lack of confidence, or feeling disorganized or out of control with it. So I think what the guides want you to know is that it is in control and it is good.
Yeah, so what's interesting, what was kind of coming in is, it's confusing sometimes. Oh, hello, Shelby.
Yeah,
it's confusing sometimes when you're just kind of following what the universe is giving you, and a lot of people misunderstand and think, well, if it's what's supposed to be, it'll just kind of happen and fall into place. Well, that does happen sometimes. Other times, though, you are meant to go through challenges because it's time to grow or heal or work through karma. And it is the
test or initiation.
It's the right step. You need to go through whatever it is. Sometimes it's not that bad. Sometimes it's like, oh God, when is this over? Other times it's like, hooray, that worked out perfectly. I don't necessarily feel like whatever this is that they're talking about is a hooray, it worked out perfectly, but I also don't feel like it's an awful thing. It just feels like it's a necessary thing and it's good. I think overall you're going to feel good about it. But when challenges arise, the trick is trying to figure out, is this the universe trying to tell me this is the wrong move? Or is this the right move, but I need to work through this, whatever it is. And sometimes it's not always easy to figure out and understand. And sometimes we step away from lessons we're meant to go through because we think it's just something we're not supposed to do. But I think that they just want, whatever this is, whatever this agreement is, I think they just want you to know that it is what you're supposed to do. Follow that. Follow your deep inner knowing. And don't be scared off by any kind of roadblocks that might get thrown in the way, because those are just challenges you're meant to overcome.
Yeah, I heard the words, it is secure. So if something feels insecure, they're saying it feels secure. It is secure.
That's all I'm getting.
I think that's it.
All right.
Okay, Paul Seraphin. I love your name. That is cool. Okay, would love a message, please. Okay, Paul. I think your name is not an accident. I do see angels around you. And I feel like you're really protected and guided. Even if it doesn't feel like it.
What? So I immediately saw an image of a snake, and then I heard, was it Snaky Snake? What was that guy's name?
Sasha
Sasha
Bonison.
Bonison. We used to watch this guy.
channeler. He's so much
hilarious.
personality. He's very funny. But he would always go, "Oh, there's a snaky."
There's a snaky. And that's what I heard coming in. There's a snaky. And I think what they're trying to say, that's why I was like trying to figure out what this is. I don't want to throw any judgment at it. But I think, and then at the same time that I was getting this information, you said you're very protected. So I do feel that you're very protected, but I also feel like for some reason
to look
you're,
out for.
you're a target of some sort for some reason.
Of something. Or someone.
Of just probably some sort of negative intention. And I heard yes. So I think that we got that correct. And that, the point is not to say that to scare you. It's to kind of get you, if you aren't already aware of what this might be, to tune into it and just see, not through fear, but through a curiosity, and just see where it leads. And then not to be like, oh my gosh, that person's targeting me. It's not like that at all. But it does feel like there's just somebody who doesn't have your best interest at heart. And, that's not normally a message that we get to come through here, but it feels like this is important.
Mm-hmm. And just so you know, like that's going around. We're on Earth. There's polarity. There's
Totally.
good people and bad people and everything in between. And so it's just good to know, especially if you're a good person, like I feel you are. Good people are often a target of negative people, and it can just be the soul lessons that we're meant to learn, often around boundaries, because a lot of people talk about projection, like we might project our negative feelings or our wounds on other people. What I've seen a lot happen is good people project their goodness onto other people, and then they get blindsided when not everyone's an angel like they are. So it's just about taking people, there's often red flags around people, or we might give them the benefit of the doubt way too many times, or, there's a lot of ways it can manifest where we wind up getting trampled or having our boundaries crossed. And so for a lot of people who are incarnated at this time, the soul lessons that they're meant to learn are about boundaries around people who might try to take advantage of them. And I do feel like that's what this is about. So it's nothing to be alarmed about, but I do feel like it's it's about discernment, about what people's true intentions are, and also about getting into your strength and power, at the same time being forgiving, but setting loving boundaries so that whatever this is can't get out of control, basically. I think that might be
I'm not getting anything else.
So good luck. Yeah.
Definitely don't get worried about it or in fear about it, because at any given point in time, there's probably somebody who is not thrilled with one of us or both of us or any of us or all of us, who knows. But it's just when there's, a lot of times when there's a negative intention involved, the guides will come in and kind of like, hey, pay attention.
Right.
I just feel like it's one of those times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
I liked this comment from Faye.
I was not going to say it because, well, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Faye. I'm just calling you out, but it's funny.
It's probably an autocorrect.
It's a typo. And it says, "I wish I could grow my hair like you, lovely ass." Anyway, but down here she says, "Love your hair, ladies, beautiful." Thanks, Faye. Sorry, I couldn't let that go.
I was like, yeah, let's
not. I'm like, let's go there. This is a good time. It's a good time for laughing. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Because now we're gonna help Diane M. Padula, who said she had the worst day. So we hope that might have cheered you up. She said any help is appreciated.
Yeah, we'll warn you now, Diane. We laugh. That is definitely the way we get out of things. We laugh.
Oh, we laugh.
We
even
laugh.
when we're very bitter.
Even when there's tears coming out of our eyes.
Yeah, it's true. We do. What else can you do?
Oh.
Just gotta laugh.
Let's see what comes through. So right away, the first thing I see is like this beautiful white comforter, and there's just this, it's a real thick comforter. And I saw you like just lying down on it. So I'm assuming the comforter means needing comfort. But the whiteness of this, it just feels so pure. This comforter and like there's no color anywhere in this image. It's just this white comforter. And I think that's representing, your spiritual connection and what's, when we go through tough times, there's always a reason. And the tough time is to get us to reach into the depths of ourselves and to God, universe, whatever this is for you, creator. It's to get us to become seekers. It's to get us to find information, to get curious, to figure out who are we, why are we going through this, what is this all about? Because when things happen to us, it is not really about what's happening to us. It is about what it's trying to show us and what our response is to what is happening to us. It's not about the trigger. It's why are we triggered? Mm-hmm. And things show up in our lives because we need to look at them. Whether it's individual or it's as a collective, we all have these things that we've got to go through and work through and work towards. So knowing that you are being cared for and held by the all that is, and that you are not alone. I'm hearing you are exactly where you need to be with everything that's showing up in your life. And I don't feel like it's just one thing. It feels like it's kind of coming from different angles where it's not where you want it to be. So, and then they just showed me real quick. It was a really quick image of the river. And usually if I see something like this, it tells me that you're fighting the current and where it's trying to take you. So if you're flowing down a river, it can get rapid, right? You can hit the, really big rapids. It can be a little scary, but if you just allow it to take you, you'll get to where you need to go. And the more you fight, the more you resist, the more of a struggle it is. And the more chances you have of not doing very well through it, mm-hmm. So kind of just pick your feet up, let it take you, trust that you're being taken to where you need to be taken with whatever it is that's showing up here for you today. And it's almost like work on your own, I'm hearing like mechanics. So I think it's where you're holding your vibration, I think is what they're trying to say, but it was just an interesting way of saying it, mechanics. Mm-hmm. Work on your own mechanics around it all and how you're processing it. Let's say, for example, like there was an argument with somebody that you're close with, or maybe a falling out or something, which I don't know if that's what happened or not, but that's what's coming in. So I'll just say it. If there's some sort of like an argument or something and a falling out or it seems like you're never going to talk again or something, there's different ways you can process that. You can, in your own mind, yell at them and say all the things you meant to say and go through all the things of why you're right and they're wrong or how they, did you wrong or whatever. But that's just staying in the weeds of the situation. It's not really resolving anything. And a lot of times it's just placating our ego and trying to get our ego to feel better about what's going on in our lives. And the thing is we need to see the ego for what it is and where we're at with it and choose differently. We need to choose to be wiser with how we're approaching things. And I also, what I'm hearing is you have so much wisdom. You really do. And just to remember to access that. You getting anything else?
I was getting a lot of really similar things, and I'll just punch in some of the highlights just to reaffirm some things that Jen said and saw. But the first thing I did see was, you were sort of upset and down here, but there was these angels kind of hovering over you and watching over you. And it did feel like, a lot of times what we go through is awful because of our perspective about it. And we all have a limited perspective, and we're in this frustrating illusion of problems. And so it did feel as if overall, it's like sometimes when I just think the sky is falling and my guides will come in and say, all is well. I had that feeling to it where it was like, really? Doesn't feel too good. But it was like,
sometimes those are the choice words too.
Right. So I did had that feel about it of these, we wind up with these frustrations, but they're often caused because we can't see the bigger picture and we can't see really what's going on behind the scenes. But it did feel like you're so watched over and observed and held and protected and loved through everything that you're going through. I was also getting the feeling like there's so these are like some subtle things to add to what everything that Jen said, was that there's also the feeling of that they observe us when we go through any challenge, to be like, well, where are they in their ascension, and how are they going to handle this one? Like they'll try to throw a softball at your head, and like, are you going to catch it? Or are you going to be like, no, could you? Like, what are you going to do? And so part of it was like, how's she gonna act, because we're always being given like, these tests and things, and they'll throw things at us that we think that we can't handle. And it's like learning the self-mastery, learning inquiry. What we talk about here a lot is being able to flip into the observer mode of the soul as opposed to reacting from the ego. So when we can get into a place of healing and curiosity, that's helpful. A lot of times what does happen is that we get triggered and react, and our emotions can help us to spiral downwards and feel like everything is out of control and terrible. And if we can get into a higher mind or a curiosity and work through things from a higher level, it can help us kind of put the brakes on the downward spiral before things start feeling really devastating. So that's where the faith comes in. The other thing about the river analogy that we've heard before that was coming up for me was the idea of when you're in the river and you're in the rapids and it seems really scary, it's tempting to grab on if there's branches overhanging the river to like hold on to them. And then you're just sort of like, you're stuck in this turbulent space of this is awful, everything's awful, I'm going to die. And I can only hang on for so long before I'm doomed. And it's like, that's kind of prolonging the inevitable, but what I'm feeling is that the inevitable is good. So it was like, let go and let God, having those feelings of faith and trust, and just knowing that you're really watched over as you go through all of these things, and to try to get into a higher space of forgiveness and knowing that everything's okay, even if it doesn't appear that way on the surface. If you can get to some sort of understanding with that. And I think that's it.
Yeah, the only thing I was getting two things, but I kind of lost one of them. But one thing is, we often ask our guides, are we nailing it or are we
effing it up?
Effing it up, because like I said, we like to joke.
Yeah.
Keeps things
light.
Yeah, because Lord, it's crazy down here. But yeah, and usually they'll say we're nailing it. Sometimes they'll say, well, I'm not quite nailing it, whatever. But, what they really mean by this is we don't fail. We are ever learning and growing. And so whatever it is that's going on with you or with somebody else, especially if you're looking at somebody else and you're like, oh, gosh, what an awful human or whatever,
garbage human,
what, or even look in the mirror, I'm a garbage human, whatever it is, it's not a pass or fail. It's, have they gotten it yet? Have they figured it out yet? Oh, they haven't gotten it. Well, another round we go, let's do another turn here. Let's see where they can be next time, and the lessons sometimes get a little more like you're banging your head against a rock. but you get it eventually.
Eventually, hopefully. Right?
Yeah. Well, if you feel like you've been banging your head against the rock, there's something that you need to get. You need to figure it out. Yeah, we don't normally get rescued from these things. We just need to be like MacGyver and figure it out. I think I'm aging or dating myself.
No, everybody loves MacGyver, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of MacGyver?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's fine.
Maybe our crowd has, but I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Look it up.
Some of the younger people
There's something
may not
called
know.
the Google Tube, so you can find it.
Yeah. Anyway, Diane, I hope that helps.
And we hope your day gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's definitely ways to choose to find reasons to be in gratitude and enjoy, even when it's kind of crumbling around you. But just know that you and everyone around you, you're not failing. Whatever it is that's going on, there is purpose behind it. And find a way to be the hero of that journey.
Mm-hmm. And pray about it.
Yeah.
If there's something you want an intercession with, you need help, say a prayer.
All right. Did you read the last one?
I did.
You did. Carrie Goulet!
Hi, Carrie Goulet.
Hello, lovely ladies. Was wondering if you could tune in and give some insight on my eye and the tiredness today.
Okay.
Girl, I'm telling you, that's tiredness.
It's going around.
Yeah, I do think there's something really energetic going around last few weeks. People aren't sleeping as well.
The energies have been super, super intense. The energies hitting the planet are really stirring up people's old traumas.
So exciting.
I know. I'm smiling. Your trauma is all getting stirred up. It's super fun, guys. We're all having to revisit old soul lessons that we thought we were done with.
But you know what? This is like that thing where you've been putting off cleaning your house for 20 years. And
20 years.
And now it's time to move. I'm sorry. We just moved and we lived in the house for 18 years.
And then we got to.
And then you got to move and you got to toss everything that you forgot you even had. You got to clean. You got to go the dust bunnies out. You got to steam clean. You got to even clean your, blinds, everything. You just got to clean everything. That's the phase that we're in. We're in karmic cleaning mode.
Before we move into awesomeness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
we are awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone, the golden age, the age of Aquarius, great things for humanity, that sort of a thing. So, we've been saying this for a long time. We're squeezing the ends of the tube of toothpaste to work it all out. Still. Yeah. Now we're cutting the tube open and scraping the insides.
Ugh. Anyway.
Okay, Carrie.
So
let's see if we can get anything on your eye and anything else about tiredness. I'll tell you what I think I'm getting about the eye is that it felt like this little dagger or a little dart in your eye. So I think I pulled it out, but I feel like there's a physical issue with it now. It might need a hot compress and a little bit of TLC. I'm hearing silver drops.
I also feel like it's connected to something in a past life, and I'm not getting a lot of information about it, but I do feel that connection. And I think it's something you're just meant to tune into and work through and figure out, but it's not coming to me exactly what it is.
I feel like if you go into the Akashic Records, Carrie, you would get some good info on it, and I feel like they want you to do that, not us. I heard correct.
And it might have, I'm hearing something, there's these different words that are coming. I hear foreshadowing and sight, insight, to see. And, this isn't me processing it. This is just words I'm hearing. So I think it might have something to do with a past life, or maybe you were very intuitive, or maybe even got information about future events or things like that. I think it is something like that. So maybe just feel into it, tune into it, see if that resonates. And whatever you think may come up around it, I would do some of the clearing techniques to clear that energy.
Mm-hmm. Tree of life and whatnot.
But I feel like you might get some visions or some really deep understanding about things that have happened in us. It feels like one very specific past life. And it may not be the one that I think you're thinking of when I say this. So I think it might be a different one. And I think that's it. I'm not getting anything else.
And I think that's it. I was getting that the tiredness was all about the energetic stuff that we were talking about. So I didn't get anything else about that. So if you're all feeling tired, you know why.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Carrie O'Grady. Hey, Carrie. I hope you're doing well. She says, hi, Jen and Katie. Thanks for this event. Anything from my guides about current changes in my life, like location or job or anything? Okay. Excuse me.
I'm not sure what this means yet, but I'm just going to say it because I'm getting it. I don't want to forget it because sometimes things will come in and they leave. But it does feel like there's a little bit of a stagnation before things take off. So I don't know. It's like this in between period. And I don't know if that means like weeks or if it means months. I don't know what that is. But it feels like a stagnation period and then like a really big expansion.
I'm hearing months, but these things can always be unpredictable with timing.
It's interesting. And I feel like, because I keep trying to get information about what you asked, but I feel like they want to take me someplace else.
Me too.
And I feel like they really want you to work on your intuition. I feel like mission.
I was getting self-mastery. It felt like a lot of inner
lot
work.
of spiritual stuff.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
So I understand like your concerns are more physical 3D, but
I feel like it's what they were saying about Jen, like how Jen was sort of like, that's sort of months away. What I'm feeling like is they want you on this stuff that we're about to talk about. Like this is the forefront and this is what they want you to know. And those things are like moving into place, or there's things going on in the background and they don't want you to worry about it right now. And they really want you to work on your inner world right now. So we're going to give you stuff about that. And I'm hearing, journaling, meditation, and, learning about insights from other spiritual teachers, maybe on YouTube.
There's definitely something too around the idea of, we get very swept up in our emotions. Like if there's fear or sadness or worry or anger, whatever, our emotions often control us and man, they can rule us. But that's not the point. I mean, the point is the emotions in that kind of a scenario really are coming more from the egoic side of us. And it's a thought process. It's how we're thinking about something. A lot of people say your emotions are your truth. I very much disagree with that. I think the emotions are a flag trying to get your attention about something that's a deeper truth underneath of it. And that truth could be that you're thinking about something a certain way that's not helpful. It could be that your boundaries are being crossed and maybe you have every right to feel what you're feeling, but you need to address the boundaries. And it's not about the emotion. It's about the lesson underneath of that emotion. And you can't solve your problems through the emotion. Your problems need to be solved from a higher, wiser space, and the emotions are not where it's at. And a lot of us get confused in that. And I feel like that's a part of what they're wanting you to really dive into and start playing with. A lot of times we define ourselves by our feelings about things and the things that have happened to us. And we need to get through that and make it more about the things that we have overcome, the things that we have become, the things that we have learned, and how we've grown. That needs to be our story.
Yeah, and you've come a long way, and so really owning that. And I also feel like there's something about closing certain aspects of the past that you've processed a lot that tend to stay in the forefront of your mind, that it's time to kind of put it on the shelf and to focus on other areas. Because I think it's getting you stuck in some emotional loops that aren't helpful. And it's like you've done, it's, the way healing work often goes is it's this upward spiral. But and what will happen, or I feel like what's happening with you right now is that you're sort of in this spiral right now where that's sort of this plateau with it. And I'm not feeling right now like there's like you've recently done a lot of work, and I'm feeling like right now it's time to put some of those issues that have been plaguing you, like put them on the shelf, like put them aside, focus on the sort of mastery and the soul mission and this inner work that the guides are urging you to do, like getting more in touch with your intuition and honing it more. And then more lessons will come around in the future where you'll wind up having to readdress that stuff, but it doesn't have to stay so top of mind right now. It's like kind of set it all aside, focus on, I do feel like the idea of like manifesting, working on your vibration, really living more into the future right now and the present, learning to be present and to be still and happy, putting the past aside, not living in the past at all right now. Like, I feel like it really just needs to get shelved and really focusing on how to be here now in the present moment without reverting to always examining and digging and trying to exhume the bones of the past. It's like getting really comfortable in the present and working on creation for your future and your vibration. I think that's all I'm getting right now.
Yeah, I'm not really getting anything else. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm done. So that's why I'm kind of like, what is this? Well, I don't know. Let's move on and do one more, and then
actually, Carrie,
are you getting it?
I want to tune in because Carrie, actually, wait. Whenever I talk to you, I get this little this cough, and that's been with me tonight. Now I'm sort of making the connection, like, oh, you're here. So I think this is a past loved one for you. So let me just see if there's anything else they need you to know. They want you to keep working on the breathing issues, and they're bringing up breath work again. I think that came up on our last call of you doing some breath work. So they're just bringing that up again, the idea of doing breath work. And I think that's it. I think they just wanted to get that in. Learning to really own your lungs and breathe deeply. I think there's some healing is going to come out of that, of learning to stop the shallow breathing. And once again, they're bringing up the idea of like cutting back on the masking, being outside, being in fresh air, but really taking these lungfuls of fresh air and making this the practice, the breath work, where you take a huge deep breath, you fill your lungs, you breathe it out. And it's just that the practice of breath work. So looking that up and studying it if you haven't already, and making it a regular part of your practice, as well as journaling and meditation. I feel like they want you to do that daily, even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes on each, but like making it a part of your routine. And what I'm hearing is you will explode in growth if you dedicate yourself to doing those things every day. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but just being consistent about it is going to be, I feel, insanely helpful. I think that is it.
Okay.
All right.
Next. One more. I think we have time for one more.
Okay.
So that would be Melissa Bauer. Hi, anything for me, please?
Hi, Melissa.
So immediately I see almost like this, like a tornado or a vortex, and it's pulling things down into the earth. And it feels like it's a good thing. It feels like, I don't know if it's a purging of some sort, but there's a letting go or releasing that's happening with this. And I just heard it's important. I mean, I know you often work on yourself, but either something that you're currently working on or something that you're about to really step into working on, it's really important, and it feels like it sets the stage for what's next.
I just heard really exciting. And very positive, even if it doesn't feel positive right now.
And I'm not really sure what this vision is, but it was like, it looked like fractals of squares, but they were like together, almost like a Rubik's cube or something. And then it started unfolding and fractaling out, like it became like this big thing. And but I think it's their way of saying some sort of expansion, or like, I'm not sure. I feel like because they're using fractals, it means something more.
Opportunities. I just heard the word opportunities.
And I just heard something about feeling boxed in, and I think what they're trying to, because this was a square, these were squares, it was a box, and it opened up and then it just expanded, and so sometimes when you feel boxed in, you're really not. What that's doing is it's setting up this really deep lesson that helps you expand and grow. And I feel like that's what they're trying to show me with this. And I feel like there's probably more to this message that I'm not getting, but at the very least, it is that where it if you allow it to, it can open you up and help you really just like exponentially, and that's an important word, exponentially expand. And then I just saw like a stuffed, it was like a stuffed animal. I think it might have been a dog, but it was really quick. I don't know what the stuffed animal is.
Okay. Yeah, I was getting two things. One was the word victory, but the other thing was I think the stuffed animal is representing childhood, and I was getting like
Okay.
this feeling of similar to the message that we just gave to the person before you, to Carrie O'Grady, if you want to like re-listen to some of that, but it felt like the time to like put the past in the past and like do those certain things that they asked Carrie to do, which was that learning to launch from the present into this beautiful future and working more on like sort of set, like you've done all this work, you've done a ton of work. I was sort of getting also like the congratulations on all this work that you've done with healthy boundaries and all these things, but it was like you're sort of swimming here, but the past is still very palpable and you feel like you have to keep mining it. It's the idea of putting that on the shelf and moving forward. I heard the word victory, of moving forward into this beautiful present and future and working on the vibration and the manifestation of that. And that if there's more to learn from the past, like it'll come around again. And so it's like, wait for it. But don't try to like, we don't have to always figure everything out at once. Like it's always an unfolding over time. And so sometimes it's just time to set it aside and not think about it. I just heard that is all.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. It's 8:03. It's been about an hour. So head on over to divinelyguided.tv, sign up for Soul Growth Group. Go to
watch other videos.
Yeah, watch other videos and go to nourishing-journey.com/events and see what events we have going on. And some of them are over Zoom, some of them are in person, some of them are both. So sign up for some stuff. Come hang out with us, you guys.
All right. We'll see you later. Love you guys.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Okay. I'm going to turn it off this time.
Yes. I love if she announces it.